Okay, practice number 1. In the USA, shoe sizes for men are approximated by that equation, 3F minus S equals 24, where F is representing the length of the foot in inches and S is representing the shoe size. Part A. If the average man's foot is 11.5 inches long, what is the shoe size? So we're going to take that equation. I'm going to do it down here. I got some room. We're going to take our equation. Remember, F is the average man's size, and S is representing the shoe size, as again they said there. The 11.5 inches long, that's the average man's length. And we're going to plug that into our equation to solve for S. So let's go to our calculator and punch in 11.5 times 3, which gives me 34.5, minus S. I'm solving for S here because that's going to again give me my shoe size. So I'm going to subtract 34.5 from both sides. Those cancel. And then 24 minus 34.5, watch your signs, you get negative 10.5. Now after that, you have a negative 1 in front of the S. So I'm going to divide by negative 1. That gives me a positive 10.5. So the shoe size is roughly, it's not roughly, it is 10.5. Part B, determine the X and Y intercepts. So let's go look at part B on that. We're going to continue to use that equation. And let's go find the X intercept first, and then let's go find the Y intercept. Okay. So, excuse me. For the intercepts, all right, we're going to plug in one as 0 and solve for the other. So for this x-intercept then, remember that occurs when one is 0. And for the other one, it occurs when the other one is 0. And let's go through and solve for S, and then solve for F. Okay? Negative 1 times 0 is always, 0. And F equals then 8. And over here, 3 times 0 is, 0, and negative S, so S equals negative 24. Now, in this case then, all right, the F of 8, the x-intercept, represents the length of the foot in inches when the shoe size is 0. So when shoe size is 0, the length of foot is, I can't write today, is 8 inches. On the other one, okay, the negative 24 represents the shoe size when the length of the foot is 0. This one looks a little weird, so represents the length of foot when size is 0. So what that's saying here is the length of the foot is negative 24 inches when the shoe size is 0, which makes no sense, okay, because you cannot have a man with a foot that is 0 inches long. So in this case, the y-intercept is not making much sense, but it is calculated correctly, which we know sometimes happens when you get into linear equations, that sometimes mathematically it works, but in the context, it doesn't make much sense. All right, part C. Which form can most easily be used to determine the slope of this equation and determine it? Well, it's in standard form, and standard form is not very pretty for us getting the slope. So let's rearrange this into general form. So to do that, we're going to get S by itself, subtract that 3F from both sides. Those are not like terms, so leave them separate. And then divide everything by negative 1. 3F minus 24. So in this case then, the slope is 3 and represents the amount shoe size will increase for each additional inch in foot length.